Thank you, Natalie. It is quite a scene here at Ellen Road. 30,000 Leeds fans all have their flags and their scarves up above their heads. It is a real riot of colour as the two sides come out, and no team has ever lost the home leg of a championship playoff semi-final and then gone on to reach the final, and that is the task facing Derby County. And Ellen Road, not the sort of place to change that sort of stat. Leeds appeared to have become revitalised during the first leg, and it's a big question, but have they rediscovered their confidence just in time, or will the pressure get to them once again? You don't get scenes like this, Simon Grayson, anywhere else in English football.
No, you don't. It's a magnificent sight for the home team to be coming out and seeing 30-odd thousand home supporters with the white scarves above their head. Will it be a motivation for Derby County to try and silence them and keep them quiet? Certainly will be. But it is a fantastic atmosphere, fanatical supporters who will back this team right to the very end tonight.
A reminder of the two sides once again. Two changes for Leeds. Forshaw and Roof both injured. Kemal Roof was just down on the touchline talking to the Leeds owner Andrew Radrazani a few moments ago. Coming into the side, the teenager Jamie Shackleton, only his fourth start of the season in championship games, and Patrick Bamford back from a 2-game ban for that pretty disgraceful play acting during the match against Aston Villa. It is Kassir in goal, Ayling, Berardi, Cooper and Dallas the back four. Phillips holding in midfield, Hernandez, Shackleton, Click and Harrison with Bamford in attack. The Derby change is enforced as well, we assume, with David Nugent not involved in the 18 at all. Mason Bennett is the player who comes in to start, a regular sub on so many occasions this season. It is Rose in goal, Bogle, Tamori, Keogh and Malone the back four, Mount and Holmes in midfield, with Johnson, Wilson, Lawrence and Bennett completing that lineup. But it's interesting, Simon, as the Leeds crowd here whirl all those scarves around their heads here. He's gone for Bennett, and once again a more regular goal scorer and a more regular starter this season for Derby, Jack Marriott, is on the bench.
Yeah, interesting that maybe he thinks that Bennett will give him a little bit more power, a little bit more pace. Marriott does chase things down, has scored plenty of goals this season already in the Championship. Maybe he just thinks that Leeds are going to have possession of the ball, open up the pitch with full-backs pushing on, centre-backs spreading. Can he isolate the likes of Berardi and Cooper with his pace and power and hit them on the counter-attack?
Well, Marriott has more starts and more goals for Derby this season, but Frank Lampard has made the decision to go with Mason Bennett, who is still a young man, but he's been around Derby County for so many years. We have a Premier League referee here once again this evening, Anthony Taylor, who was in charge of the playoff final 12 months ago when Fulham beat Aston Villa. And it's Leeds United who will get the game underway, wearing all white, attacking the south stand away to our right hand side, leading by a 0-0. Derby wearing their chain strip of dark grey. By the end of this evening we will know one of these sides will be facing Aston Villa in the Championship playoff final. Leeds starters favourites, but as we've seen on so many occasions this season, favouritism is often a millstone for Leeds United. They look to come forward on this near side with Bamford, and he's supported by Click, but the ball spins out of play and it will be a throw in which Malone will take on this near side, the Derby left. Thrown long by Malone, looking for Bennett, beaten to it in the air by Ayling, flicked on by Harrison towards the edge of the penalty area. Bamford losing out though to Keogh, and now it's played long downfield by Bogle, who of course had that penalty decision taken away from him by Craig Pawson during the game at Pride Park, and it was a controversial move towards the end of that game which could have given Derby County a lifeline, but they have to put that behind them.
Well, they do. It's a different occasion, different game now. It's going to be frantic for the first 10-15 minutes, both teams trying to get a foothold in the game. I don't think any other players are going to have more than a couple of seconds on the ball. They've got to make sure that they're sort of aware that don't make a mistake early on, get your first pass in and make sure it's a confident, positive one. I think we've seen already that Derby looking, went back to Kassir, that he looked to close them down from the front and ask questions straight away.
It is a bright, sunny evening for now at Ellen Road, and the Leeds United crowd almost in party mood all of them in shirt sleeves, all wearing their scarves, and a number of inflatables are being thrown around the crowd as well, and some of them not really for a family audience, as Keller Rose clears downfield for Derby once again, looking for Bennett down the centre, beaten to it by Cooper in the air, but it's almost won back by Johnson. Now Hernandez, the Leeds United Player of the Year, tries to work it forward on the near side the right, but he's quickly challenged, and Bennett was closing down Ayling, and it will be a throw into Leeds on this near side. 2 minutes played, 0-0, as Frank Lampard in his black suit and crisp white shirt stands in the Leeds technical area, and once again Marcelo Bielsa perched on his bucket. Clearly he only takes it to home games, or maybe Derby County wouldn't let it in. It's all part of the mind games.
Possibly. I've seen it away games already this season. I think you mentioned it earlier, Nigel. It's going to be good to have an experienced referee in Anthony Taylor, who's been there and done it, Premier League and big games. He's going to make sure that he lets certain things go, but he obviously makes sure that he doesn't allow too many misdemeanors to happen. 2.5
minutes played, 0-0 at Ellen Road in the evening sunshine, as Malone tries to hook it forward, and then Dwayne Holmes loses out, and it will be shepherded out of play by the teenager Jayden Bogle on the far side. Quickly down the line, looking for Bennett, who goes down under the challenge of Cooper, but Anthony Taylor allows Leeds to continue. Now Johnson tries to win it back, the former Leeds player on the far side, but he uses his arm as he controls it, and Leeds will regain possession on the halfway line down their left, leading by a 0-0 following Kemar Roof's goal in the first leg at Pride Park, but Roof and Forshaw both unavailable for Leeds. And we've heard so much about burnout, Simon, and the Bielsa effect, but injuries have really played their part for Leeds.
Well, they have, but I think that comes with the territory, the way that you're going to play and the way you're going to train, that you've got to be aware that you're going to get muscular injuries because of the intensity that Marcelo Bielsa wants to play at. So that is part and parcel of it. I think Bradley Johnson will play a big part of this tonight, because he has to make sure he protects the back four of Derby County and sees the run of Shackleton and Klitsch breaking forward.
Now it's Mason Mount looking to break towards the edge of the penalty area, helped out by Holmes, and also involved was Harry Wilson, but Leeds will clear downfield, and Bamford will get there before Tamori, and he's away down the right hand side. He then goes down, and the free kick has been given to Leeds just outside the penalty area, and Tamori will have to manage a yellow card for the remainder of this game.
Well, to be fair, that's really surprised me. Bamford's done ever so well on the right hand side here, and then Tamori, who's rapid, didn't manage to get back goal side. I thought he was going to quite easily do that, and Bamford's got across him, makes a free kick, gives a free kick away. Maybe if Anthony Taylor let it go on, I think Klitsch maybe had a free possession of the ball, maybe get a shot out, but this is going to be a key area, and it puts Tamori on the back burner here a little bit, on the back foot, given that he's got a yellow card so early.
And as we've seen, red cards have been so crucial in the playoffs up and down the divisions so far. Phillips and Hernandez are over the free kick, which is a couple of yards outside the penalty area, wide on the right hand side. Berardi and Cooper are both forward, and every single Derby player is back defending here. Their fans being drowned out by the Leeds supporters at the moment. Phillips with a delivery, and it was Bamford challenging for it, then Ayling with a volley which was blocked. It loose high into the air, and inside the 6-yard area, Keller Roos, wearing all violet, does well to gather, and he quickly clears downfield looking for Tom Lawrence. It's headed up in the air by Berardi at the other end. Lawrence will then challenge Phillips, and outside his penalty area, Casilla has given the ball away, and Wilson had a clear sight of goal there. He lofted it over the top, but Wilson was heavily challenged by Cooper, and it will be a free kick to Derby here just outside the penalty area, and that was shambolic from Leeds.
Well, I think it's quite evident already from Derby's perspective that they've not played it out from the back too often. They get it forward. Berardi misjudged his header to start with, and then we've seen Casilla do this not so many times, but quite often this season, enough times to suggest that he's a little bit inconsistent and hesitant, and they got in all sorts of mess. And Harry Wilson may be disappointed he's not hit the target. Yes, he was under pressure from the tackle, but there's some good players around this free kick now for Derby.
Well, Wilson has scored so many goals from this position, left-footed, right of centre, and it's 2 yards outside the penalty area, and he was caught as he lofted the ball back towards goal. That went over the top, but now either Wilson or Mount may have a second opportunity.
Good refereeing, I think, just to point that out.
Absolutely. Harry Wilson has 17 goals so far this season, but it's Mount who curls it, and it flicks off the wall and goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, the wall did its job there. They stood strong. They made sure they did it nice and tall, deflected out to the far corner. But again, there's something Leeds don't need to be doing, having that sort of hesitancy from the goalkeeper and his two centre-backs, because that can transmit to the supporters, then back onto the pitch to other players.
7 minutes played, 0-0 at Ellen Road on Talk Sport. Wilson drives the corner in towards the near post. Bamford is there to clear, and there is a very confident feel about the Leeds supporters here all around the stadium, and that could be a dangerous thing.
Well, it can, and you've got to make sure that you're positive with your team, but you obviously got to be wary that you're not complacent, because it is only 1-0.
Now Bennett looking to burst into the penalty area, and he delivers the cross, which is blocked, and then a Leeds player goes down, Ayling, and he gets the free kick. But once again, Leeds there not entirely convincing, as Bennett looked to burrow his way through down the right hand side, and he almost got to the byline.
Well, I think you can see why Frank Lampard's played Mason Bennett early in this first 7 to 8 minutes or so, that he's powerful, he wants to chase things down. The front three of Lawrence, Mount and Wilson on the far side have certainly been more effective than they were in most of the game on Saturday night.
You're listening to Leeds against Derby on Talk Sport with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. 8 minutes played, 0-0, so Leeds still leading by a goal to 0 from the first leg. Hernandez plays it wide to the far side and Click. And now an opportunity for Dallas to come in field, but he only picks out the Chelsea loanee Mason Mount, and Derby will knock it long again, looking for Bennett, but it's quickly cut out by Berardi. But the ball forward there from Hernandez was a poor one. He then recovers with a defensive header to find Ayling, and at the moment Leeds are finding it difficult to get the ball down and really play. Here is Lawrence coming in field now for Derby. Early ball over the top, looking for the pace of Dwayne Holmes all the way through from midfield, and Casilla outside his penalty area is able to make the clearance this time. Now Bennett challenging Cooper, and there was just a feeling from the Derby supporters I spoke to that Nugent didn't really appreciate the physical challenge offered by Berardi and Cooper on Saturday, but Bennett clearly is so far.
Well, he certainly is. Derby have started the game really positively. They've been on the front foot. Leeds really haven't asked too many questions of Derby County. It's been predominantly Derby winning first balls, second balls, forward runners, and asking questions, as keep mentioning.
Lawrence tries to work it down the line left hand side looking for Mount, but it took a deflection off a Leeds boot, and it will be a throw in for Derby County inside the opening 10 minutes, and they have settled quicker. Malone will take the throw in level with the edge of the Leeds penalty area, and Scott Malone, familiar with this part of the world, the former Huddersfield player. Now Lawrence just loses out. Hernandez will hook the ball over the shoulder to clear. Johnson returns it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Ayling and Phillips almost collide, and Johnson wins it back, and here is Malone, who comes in field now from the left hand side, midway inside the Leeds half. Dwayne Holmes takes over once again. Now Keogh, the captain, striding forward, heavily advanced. Bennett down the right looking for Bogle, who wriggles away from one challenge and tries to deliver the cross, and it's beyond Harrison, and Bogle continues, and then the cross is blocked. He tries to allow it to spin out for a corner, but the backspin on the ball brings it back into play. Bogle then does win the corner off Jack Harrison. All Derby.
Yeah, excellent play from Derby so far in this first 10 minutes. A little bit of hesitancy again between Ayling and Phillips, which again causes nervousness about them, but Derby have been far better with the ball since Saturday, kept it better, moved it, having a little bit of sustained pressure.
Wilson with the corner, high and deep towards the far post. Keogh was challenging, but the other captain on the field, Cooper, got there first. Now Click clears it long downfield, but there's nobody there in a white shirt as Bamford looks to try and apply the pressure on Malone, and it's all the way back towards the Dutchman, Calaros. And his clearance was a poor one, but Tamori was there to gather before Hernandez, and he quickly plays it forward towards Lawrence. Lawrence spins in field, but then gives the ball away to Ayling, and here is an opportunity now for Hernandez to come forward, and Shackleton had made the run beyond him, but the pass was all the way through towards Rose, defending the Derby goal at the south stand end, away to our right hand side. Now Ayling coming forward for Leeds as Frank Lampard looks for his side to regain the defensive shape. A nice touch from Shackleton wide towards Bamford, who knew he was offside, and the flag's up.
Yeah, I think it's quite clear that Derby are a little bit more positive in their approach, playing a little bit longer, looking for balls down the side with Mason Bennett running down the sides. But what he's doing is holding up well, which allowing Lawrence, Wilson, Holmes and Mount to get there and support, where Saturday really they didn't have enough support, and Frank will be pleased that he's kept a real hostile crowd quiet in this first 10 minutes or so.
Nearly 12 minutes played on Talk Sport, the home of the EFL playoffs. Leeds 0, Derby 0, so Leeds have the advantage from the first leg. Their third win over Derby this season, 4-1 at Pride Park in their opening away game back in August, and 2-0 here in January in the week of Spygate. And there's been more than an undercurrent between the two sets of supporters ever since, almost going back to the Revie and Clough days of the 1970s.
I think so. I would have thought that the history goes back a lot further than just sort of the last of this season, many games before that. But it's about this modern group of players now performing for the club and trying to give them each set of supporters that opportunity to be at a Wembley final with the prospect of a Premier League place at stake.
Now the blonde-haired Liam Cooper, the Leeds captain, plays all the way back towards Kiko Casilla, signed from Real Madrid back in January. He was the backup goalkeeper for Real Madrid in a number of their successes in the Champions League in recent years, but only 5 clean sheets in 17 games during the regular season here for Leeds, and I'm not absolutely sure it's been a massive upgrade on Bailey Peacock-Farrell.
Yeah, I think there's certain games where he's kept them in it, but I think as well he's been to a mistake for a couple of opportunities over, I think, the Sheffield United game where he rushed out and got sent off at Billy Sharp's feet. But you need that competition for places, obviously. Fantastic pedigree and experience, and coming to a club like Leeds United might be seen as a step down for a lot of people, but playing regular football in the Championship is
working for Bielsa.
Yeah, exactly. There's that, and the Spanish contingent that we've already got here, but also the lure of British football, because the Championship has been a fantastic season, not just this year but many others as well.
Frank Lampard on the edge of his technical area, very animated. Never scored here for Chelsea in 4 visits in the Premier League, but did notch for West Ham United as a teenager. And of course his assistant Jody Morris moved from Chelsea to Leeds during their relegation season, but it's not a spell he will remember with any great fondness, as Ayling plays it forward to Bamford down the right hand side. A nice reverse ball to pick out Click. Ayling continues the run into the penalty area, and now he arrives with the volley, but he was off balance. But as a result, the shot was high over the top, but it was really good football from Leeds.
Yeah, it was. Best bit of play from Leeds tonight. Luke Ayling does what he does best, and that's get forward, making forward runs. There's a great ball in from the right hand side. He carried on his run, and basically it was a bicycle kick in mid-air and couldn't quite control it, but far better for Leeds.
Tamori now with a long ball forward, the other Chelsea loanee in the Derby starting lineup, and Bennett again using his physicality to ruffle Berardi, and he's played it back towards Malone, who comes forward down this Derby left-hand side, just in front of us. Now Bennett now with an opportunity to cross low, right through the 6-yard area, and at the far post it's clipped away by Harrison at the expense of a throw-in.
Well, if anybody was concerned about Mason Bennett being in the team, I think he's proved already in these first 15 minutes what a threat he can be. He's giving Berardi and Cooper a tough time so far with his forward runs and his pace and power.
And Derby win it again on the far side. Holmes back towards Bradley Johnson, who was involved in 2 playoff defeats in League One with Leeds. Boga with a low ball into the penalty area, and Shackleton, wearing number 46, will step in. A teenager in the Leeds starting lineup. There are 4 others on the bench. And now Leeds will try and break on the far side, and the American Holmes with a heavy challenge on Dallas, and it will be a free kick for Leeds midway inside their own half.
Yeah, good play from Leeds in their own final third there, knocked it around, give and go from Shackleton, got it into to Dallas, and again good refereeing, because Dwayne Owens couldn't stop his momentum forward. Nothing sinister in it. Free kick to Leeds, and no yellow card.
And Leeds have never won a playoff campaign. They were beaten in the first year back in 1987 when they lost to Charlton, who were battling to stay in the old First Division, in a replay at St Andrews when Leeds were 1-0 up with 7 minutes to play, and then Peter Shirtliff, who hadn't scored a goal, scored twice.
I know, I was apprentice at Leeds at that time, and I remember being at the game. and a very unlikely goal scorer.
And now Bennett coming forward for Derby on this near side, on to Harry Wilson, on loan from Liverpool. Bradley Johnson now back on familiar territory, and he's worked his way towards the byline. He takes on Berardi, but Berardi does well to block the cross, and Bennett comes flying in, and Berardi sidesteps him and finds Hernandez, and Wilson is there to block the long ball forward, and it will be a throw into Leeds just in front of us on this near side, their right. And Leeds also beaten in the Championship playoffs against Watford after beating Preston in the semi-finals back in 2006, and then down in League One, Doncaster Rovers beat them in 2008, and 10 years ago Millwall beat them here, or rather drew here to beat them in the semi-final when Simon was the Leeds manager. And I remember being here that night. The atmosphere was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was, and we played really well that night, and we had the real momentum going forward for us. And then I think it was Robinson went down injured. I think he was injured, but it really knocked the wind out of our sails, and we couldn't get going again. And Jimmy Abdou came up with the equaliser to send them through 2-1. But it's not been, as you said, the record there for Leeds is not good, but records are there to be broken. Preston, when I was there as manager, I got reminded that 9 times out of 9 they'd not got promoted. Well, I said records there to be broken. We managed to do it the 10th for 10th. So again, and Derby won't have the best of records.
No, 1-1 in 7 when they beat West Brom back in 2007 in the Championship final, before going on to have the worst ever season in the Premier League. But they've been beaten on numerous occasions, 3 times in the last 5 years, to Queen's Park Rangers, Hull, and of course Fulham last season. You're missing nothing here as the ball has just spun out to play on the far side, and Anthony Taylor is just having a quick word with Dallas and Mount, and just sorting 1 or 2 issues out in the early stages.
Yeah, Nigel, again, I've mentioned it quite earlier, but Derby will be really happy with how they started the game. It's not the hostile atmosphere that it was at kick-off. They've had plenty of possession, they've asked a few questions, where Leeds have really only been reliant on half a chance for Luke Ayling when he darted forward into the box. So it's a positive start for Derby.
Well, Leeds drew the fewest number of games in the Championship this season. Now Malone with a very silly challenge on this near side, right in front of the 2 technical areas. Kevin Friend, the 4th official, just stepping in to prevent any real byplay between the 2 benches, and Hernandez was looking to take a quick throw in, and Malone just barged into him, and now Lampard is getting involved, telling the referee he disagrees. Somebody has thrown a scarf into the technical areas. That will happen on 1 or 2 occasions, I think, this evening. Lampard is furious, and he's having words with Kevin Friend. He's been forced back into his own technical area, and ultimately Hernandez will be booked, and so too will Malone.
Well, look, you want an edge to the game, but you don't want any needless bookings. You've just seen there now, I think Lawrence was booked, Malone has been booked, and Hernandez, and before you know it, we can have another 2 or 3 in the book if there's a couple of more tackles going on. So a bit stupid, but you get that everybody's wired up and they're fiery and they're passionate about what they're trying to do, but you've got to make sure you play with your head as well as your heart. Well,
that's the first flashpoint. Kevin Friend did well because he knew what was coming there, and he made himself a decent physical presence, with Bielsa perched on his bucket on one side and Lampard very annoyed on the other. And now a Leeds player has gone down in front of the East Stand on the far side, and there will be another free kick here. It's Stuart Dallas who has gone down, who is basically the 3rd choice left back in the absence of Barry Douglas and Ezjan Alioski. And Leeds have another free kick, and maybe with 20 minutes played, Simon, they're gradually working their way into the game.
They are, yeah, and we're just talking about sort of occasionally there's going to be some tackles flying in. There'll be plenty more come the end of this 90 minutes or beyond if it goes that far. But Dwayne Owens has got to be a little bit careful. He's caught Stuart Dallas a couple of occasions now.
And Holmes coming forward again, looking for Bennett down the centre, but Cooper just nips in, and Dallas will come forward down the left, but as a right-footed player he may have to come in field, but he finds Bamford down the line. Back towards Dallas again, Harrison also in support. Phillips goes all the way back towards Cooper, and Leeds just enjoying some sustained possession here, which the home crowd appreciate. Now Click finding Ayling again with the ponytail, and Ayling drives towards the edge of the penalty area, then gives it away straight to Keogh. Keogh will quickly find Mount, but Mount can't pick the pass to find Lawrence, and Bradley Johnson almost loses out and was then fouled by Bamford, and it will be a free kick to Derby County with 21 minutes played. Leeds have had 56% possession so far, and more shots on target.
But I think we always knew that the game was going to be frenetic to start with. It's just died down a little bit, the pace, which probably suits Leeds a little bit, given that they can get time to get on the ball. The likes of Hernandez and Klitsch, they're looking to play through the lines, get it into Bamford, so it's settled down, because no individual can play the sustained manner that they started off this game in.
Now Lawrence looking for Bennett on the edge of the penalty area for Derby, but Leeds will clear and now try and break, and Bamford works it wide to the far side looking for Harrison, but the ball just spins away out of his grasp, and it will be a throw-in for Derby County. And Patrick Bamford is always quite a willowy figure, doesn't strike you as the strongest player on the ball, but he's been pumped up here this evening, and now he has pushed into Keogh and forced Keogh into an error, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds on the far side.
Well, he certainly had a lot of backing from the Leeds United supporters when they were going for the fast feet warm-up. They're all singing his name because they realise that he's the number 9 tonight, no Kemar Roof. They don't want to get behind him, whether he's not confident enough, but he'll get in between centre-backs. You don't want to play up against them too often because, as I said, he's not the strongest, but he's technically very good.
And he swoops in field now, but he runs straight into Tamori, but he was fouled on the way through, and it will be a free kick for Leeds, wide on the left-hand side. And Calvin Phillips is coming across to take it, who has been such a constant presence for Leeds right throughout the season, of course, a local product, and really he is the player who has blossomed under Bielsa more than anyone else.
Well, he certainly has. He's been the key to the team, that he can just sit in front of the back four, allow the full-backs to move forward as whenever they need to, and then Hernandez and Klitsch looking to break forward, so he's that cog within the wheel of the Leeds United midfield.
And the high ball into the penalty area goes all the way through, off the post, and it's in, and Leeds United have taken the lead, and it's Stuart Dallas who has scored the goal. Ellen Road erupts, and they will believe now they are on their way to Wembley. This club always seems to be a soap opera, and it's Dallas who has scored. Leeds United 1, Derby County 0, 2-0 on aggregate.
Well, it's a great ball in from Calvin Phillips, in-swinger with his right foot. Missed everybody nobody got any connection onto the ball. Roos in goal managed to get nothing onto it, hit the post, and Stuart Dallas, probably the most unlikely of heroes, has followed up first and put it into the back of an empty net. So good reaction from Stuart Dallas, and obviously gives Leeds a big advantage now.
And a yellow smoke bomb has been let off in the corner on the far side. The Scarves are being whirled all around Ellen Road because they have the goal they were looking for against the run of play. But it's a long way back for Derby now. 24 minutes played, 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate, and Derby need 2 goals to simply force extra time. And Stuart Dallas, who has been a perennial sub for Leeds until the injury to Alioski earlier this season, has come back in the side and come up with a massive goal there.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it, because he's not really somebody that you expect to be in around the 18-yard box. I'm not sure he's scored too many goals in his career, Stuart, but
third this season,
right, but that's going to be probably, without doubt, probably the most important one of his career. He's followed it in when everybody else was stationary and reacted quickly. And obviously now Ellen Road is buzzing with the supporters and giving the comfort of that 2-goal advantage.
Well, it has been the sort of game we anticipated. 4 bookings inside the opening 20 minutes, and now the opening goal to really light the blue touch paper for Leeds United. And TalkSport supports the work of Prostate Cancer UK. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/football to find out how you can help, and together we can help stop prostate cancer killing a man every 45 minutes. What is the response here from Derby? Well, Wilson now looking to burst forward. He slips, but he's found Mount. Mount comes in field up towards the edge of the penalty area, but he's eventually crowded out. Hernandez will drive clear. He's found Phillips on this near side, but a good challenge from Wilson on Phillips, and yet Phillips caught Wilson there. He's protesting his innocence, but we could see the studs into the thigh from Phillips on Wilson, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, he's made a sliding tackle, and Wilson just got the first phase on him, first knock of the ball, and he came across and wiped him out. Another yellow card. I think you mentioned it in commentary, Nigel, that it was against the goal, was against run of play, because Derby had started the game really well. Leeds had not threatened too much, but it has given Leeds a massive lift and massive advantage.
Well, we can still smell the cordite in our nostrils from the smoke bombs which our lads are following that goal. And the atmosphere inside Ellen Road is unlike any other in English football on nights like tonight. Mount will take the free kick on this near side, the Derby left. It will be an in-swinger. Harrison and Hernandez in the wall, and Mount delivers, and Casilla came, and then, well, he dramatically fell to the turf. It was always swinging wide, but it wasn't entirely convincing.
No, I think he's quite spared his blushes there, that he started coming from the ball, wasn't going to get anywhere near that, and then ultimately he made a bit of a meal of it that he play acting. So again, he's got to be careful that he just keeps his concentration, because that could have quite easily sailed over his head.
Well, the team which finished third in the Championship has reached the final in 7 of the last 8 seasons, and Leeds United's fans will believe they are well on their way here, leading by a 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate, against a Derby side with only one away win in their last 10 games, and that was a crucial one at Bristol City late in the season to help cement their position in 6th place, as Tomori does well to win it back from Bamford, and he's played it forward towards Lawrence, but Casilla outside his penalty area. Well, most goalkeepers would have booted that ball away, but he controlled it and came back inside into the general play and then cleared it.
Well, he's very confident in his ability, isn't he? That he's read the line, he's read the through ball a couple of times now, which has been positive goalkeeping. Just make sure that you don't do something stupid to allow Derby to get back into this game when it's needless and pointless to do. So play safety football for now and just take it from there.
Bamford coming forward now down the right hand side, able to turn in field, and he's clipped it over the top, looking for Shackleton. The sort of runs that Leeds need from midfield in this system, but it's gathered by Rose, and now Johnson will play it wide to the far side, and the teenager Jayden Bogle. And Wilson slips in the midfield area, and he's robbed by Phillips. Wide to this right-hand side, and Hernandez. He comes in field, and the shot driven in by Click, and it's come back off the woodwork, via deflection, and it's hacked away by Bogle for a corner.
Well, Leeds have certainly got the tail up there. It was a ball into midfield, and Harry Wilson has fallen over the ball. Leeds recycled it, and then it came to Klitsch, who hit a first-time strike, and Richard Keogh went to try and head it away, but it's caught the top of his head, and managed to hit the crossbar and got cleared away.
The crossbar as well.
And that's quite fortunate. That could have been 2-0 and 3-0 on aggregate, and that would have been game over. So Derby have rode the luck. They need to stay in the game and make sure they don't concede the next one very quickly.
Phillips over the corner on the far side, the Leeds left, and then swinger towards the near post, met by Tom Lawrence. The second header is then won by Holmes, and Holmes will try and burst forward now for Derby, but it's Shackleton who comes back to win it back, and now Leeds can move forward with some purpose down the left-hand side. Calvin Phillips cuts back in field, the low cross is met at the near post by Keogh, headed back into the area by Harrison. Bamford looking to turn down the left-hand side, going down inside the penalty area, and the referee is going to book Bamford for diving. And again, there is plenty of afters as Keogh and Bamford have a coming together. Bamford going down. He's just come back from a ban for play acting, and now it's a yellow card for diving. Yellow card number 6 in the opening half hour.
Well, it's very difficult for us to see, Nigel, is it, whether it was a dive or not, because we've got no screens up here.
He didn't complain, did he?
He didn't complain, but sometimes when a defender goes near you and makes a little bit of contact, you might go down without looking for a penalty. Was it based on his previous history? I'm not quite sure.
But the thing is, now he has a reputation.
Yeah.
Referees will always have that in the backs of their minds.
Well, they shouldn't do, because that's what we're told.
But it's human nature, though, isn't it?
Of course it is. I totally agree with you, but we're also told that referees don't take that into consideration, whether you're a hard man or a diver. But if you do stuff like that, then you are going to give referees the opportunity to book you or not give you decisions when maybe you've done nothing wrong. And I'm not saying Bamford hasn't done anything wrong then, by the way, because we've not been able to see it again.
But he didn't complain.
No.
But Bamford and Hernandez have been booked already, along with Calvin Phillips. And Tamori, Malone and Lawrence have received yellow cards for Derby. It's been that sort of game so far. 31 minutes played. Leeds have the lead though by a goal to nil. And you're listening to Leeds against Derby on TalkSport with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. Don't forget, the next 2 nights on TalkSport 2, the conclusion of the League One playoffs. Portsmouth against Sunderland tomorrow night with David Connolly alongside Ian Danta at Fratton Park, and David will also be with Jim Proudfoot at the Valley on Friday for Charlton against Doncaster. Sunderland 1 up, Charlton 2-1 up. On Saturday on TalkSport, it is the FA Cup final. Manchester City going for the domestic treble against Watford. Join Sags and the team from 3, but coverage from around Wembley all day on TalkSport. On TalkSport 2, there is unrivaled coverage of the final day of the Gallagher Premiership Rugby Union season, or the regular season at least, and then on Saturday, or rather Sunday, it is non-league finals day on TalkSport 2. Full commentary on both the trophy and the Vase from Wembley. Bamford now for Leeds, inside the centre circle, finding Click on this near side, another player who has been a revelation for Leeds this season. Now Hernandez clips it down the line looking for Ayling, but it's cut out by Malone, and it will be a throw into Leeds on this near side. And if this game finishes 11 against 11, I'll be surprised.
Well, I think both teams got to be very careful. One, it's going to affect this game, but also it'll affect the final. You get sent off tonight, banned for the final, and that could be your biggest regret in your career if you miss a final, like the importance of a championship playoff.
Ayling down this right hand side, comes in field for Leeds, plays the 1-2 with Hernandez. It breaks to Dallas once again. His left footed shot is deflected, squirts across the penalty area and behind for a corner. And everything falling to Stuart Dallas. Yeah,
he's getting forward, which Bielsa likes his fullbacks to do that. He's in around the 18-yard box now with Calvin Phillips coming across to set the corner. But Derby have got to make sure they stay strong. Don't concede again before half-time. Make sure you're man for man in the box. Don't let anybody get a free header if it's getting second balls, and then stay in this game if you can.
Ellen Road awash with polyester scarves at the moment. It's like a Bay City Rollers gig. Phillips will take the corner on this near side. It's an outswinger towards the near post, aim for Ayling, and he claims another corner, but a goal kick has been given.
Showing your edge there, Nigel.
Yeah,
I can't remember them.
Oh, you're showing it because you've got the gig, yeah. I was going to ask you on a more serious point, with your playoff experience. Are they easier to deal with as a player or a manager?
I think as a player you've got less pressure on you. Of course you're playing and you don't want to make a mistake. As a manager you've got so many things to be thinking about. You've got the whole supporters questioning decisions on this, that and the other. Look, you can either thrive on them or put your head below the sand and stay away from what can be one of the best days of your career if you manage to win at Wembley.
Bennett tries to go beyond Ayling on this near side, the Derby left, but he loses out. The clearance is straight to Bradley Johnson. And now Holmes rides one challenge and then a second as Shackleton looks to win it back. And here is Mason Mount. 34 minutes played on TalkSport, the home of the EFL playoffs. Leeds a goal up, 2-0 on aggregate, and you just get the feeling Derby need a goal before half-time, but Phillips wins it back. He's clattered by Johnson, but Bamford now coming forward for Leeds, up towards the edge of the penalty area, snakes in a low shot right-footed through the legs of Tamori, but gathered by Rose.
Again, good work from Bamford. He drove forward, wasn't really comfortable going onto his right foot, and hits a tame shot, and didn't ask any questions really of the goalkeeper.
Mason Bennett once again patrolling the channels, this time down the right hand side for Derby. Berardi just slides in and it's a throw into Derby County. Gaetano Berardi in the side ahead of Pontus Jansson this evening, and one thing Bielsa has been consistent about: if you play well, you stay in.
Yeah, on Saturday he was outstanding. He didn't give Nugent any opportunities. He's a warrior. He's missed a large part of the season through a hamstring injury, but when he's coming into the team again, he's not let anybody down, and he's been very consistent.
Derby win the ball back on the edge of the penalty area. Wilson plays it square when he maybe could have shot, and as a result Malone is beaten to it by Hernandez. But here is Bogle coming forward again, looking to take on Jack Harrison. and then scoops it into the penalty area where it's headed away by the goal scorer Stuart Dallas. Bradley Johnson with a typically combative challenge wins it back. Holmes with the ball forward, and Malone will try and keep it in play on this near side, but the ball just scoots away from him out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Leeds with 9.5 minutes to play in the first half. Leeds a goal up, 2-0 on aggregate, and Bielsa currently pacing around. He doesn't look like a man with a convincing lead.
No, he's obviously, many times we've watched him this season, he prowls along the dugout backwards and forwards, sits down, crouches down. I'm not sure how his knees keep taking the amount of times that he's on his haunches and that, so very articulate in terms of how he conducts himself, but also studies the game well.
Now Dallas going forward, wide towards the far side, and Harrison initially goes beyond Bogle, then plays the cross into the penalty area. Bamford had a swing, but Derby will clear. Now Hernandez again, he drives in the shot, which is blocked by Malone, and there's exasperation there from Bielsa as it comes wide towards this near side. Hernandez wins it back, then Johnson steps in ahead of Shackleton, and he plays the long ball forward, but it's quickly cut out by Phillips, who has been excellent so far for Leeds, just been the continuity man for them in midfield. Jack Harrison now with a low cross into the penalty area, looking for Bamford at the far post now. Here is Hernandez, plays it back in field. It almost falls to Shackleton, and anywhere will do for Johnson as he just hoofs the ball away.
Well, it's the first time I think we've mentioned Harrison tonight. He's not really done a great deal, but he's put a fantastic ball in, like he did on Saturday for Kemar Roofe to score. Whizzed across the 6-yard box. Bamford looking to get into the near post area. Chamori defended it ever so well, and in a way that's what you want to see your right-sided midfield player trying to attack the far post, but from Derby's perspective, good to see it just fire across and no white shirt getting on the end of it.
TalkSport, the home of the EFL playoffs. Leeds 1, Derby 0, and it's given away cheaply by Hernandez on this near side. Lawrence will try and move forward. Shackleton gets his body between Lawrence and the ball, but Lawrence wins it back, and then Lawrence goes down. Anthony Taylor was right there, and there's a nod of the head from Taylor towards Lawrence and says, look, it was 50-50, you lost out.
Yeah, good work from Shackleton there. He shows his determination by coming back. He's been a fullback at times in this Leeds team this season, and he showed that defensive qualities that you need as a midfield player sometimes. Tracking runners, staying on your feet, doing your job.
The Leeds seem to have got their finish to the season out of their system. 1 point in 12 when it was in their hands to finish above Sheffield United in second place, but of course they lost that now infamous game here against Wigan on Good Friday when they were 1 up, a man up, and they still lost. Johnson plays it forward now into the feet of Bennett, back towards Johnson. Holmes takes over, looking for options, finding Harry Wilson, and Derby really need their playmakers now, Wilson and Mount, to impose themselves on the game. Wilson once again back towards the tiny figure of Holmes, square towards Johnson on the far side, heading towards the right, but he's tracked by Click, and now Malone plays it forward, looking for the run of Bogle, but it's intercepted by Harrison. On loan from Manchester City, Click with the early ball forward. Bamford will chase, but Roos comes out of his penalty area to hoof the ball downfield in front of that corner on the far side, which still has Leeds United fans shielding their eyes from a very low, powerful early summer sun at this stage of the evening.
It's like this every day of the week, Nigel, you should know that.
Sun always shines in Yorkshire.
Definitely.
Jack Harrison on the far side received it again. Interestingly, he was involved in the playoffs for New York City FC in MLS a couple of years ago. Scored in a match against Montreal. Also on the score sheet was Frank Lampard.
Yeah, he did well over in New York for Manchester City's team over there.
Yeah,
and obviously went to Manchester City's first team, loaned out, and it's been a valuable experience being in the Championship this year with Leeds United.
Now Hernandez coming forward down the right-hand side for Leeds. It's a high cross to the far post. Dallas around the back tries to hook it back into the 6-yard area, but got too much on it, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to Derby. 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Leeds 1 up on the night, 2-0 on aggregate.
Again, you see there, Leeds have done it all season. Hernandez crossing it from the right, Ayling's already in the box, and Stuart Dallas, the left back, is getting into the far post. It's certainly something that Leeds do very effectively.
Lawrence in the number 10 area for Derby County, plays it back to Bogle, further on towards Mason Bennett. It's a good ball from him to find Lawrence now down the far side, the right. Infield towards Bennett on the edge of the penalty area. Merry reared up and struck him on the hand, but Bogle will come through. The shot though was blocked by 2 or 3 Leeds players who were ahead of him, and Hernandez will bring it forward on this near side. Clips it down the line, but Tamori will step in before Bamford. 2 players on a yellow card now in the game, and Johnson was looking for support, also saw that Click was coming, plays the 1-2 with Dwayne Holmes, and now there's the opportunity for Keogh to come forward on the far side, charging towards the edge of the penalty area, back towards Lawrence. Derby really needs something to happen here. Bogle on the outside down the right delivers the cross in, which was blocked by Harrison and out for a corner. And although they started well, Casilla not really having a shot to save.
As mentioned there, that they did start well, then Leeds got the goal and dominated. They're coming slightly back into the game here. They'll be looking for a good in-swinging corner from Harry Wilson. Don't hit the first man, try and get the likes of Tamori, Johnson and Keogh on the end of this.
And the corner from Wilson in towards the 6-yard area, glanced away by Bamford, headed towards goal by Mason Bennett, and it's off the far post, almost in slow motion. Derby inches away from the equaliser.
Well, it was slow motion there. Great ball in from Harry Wilson, as we mentioned, that we wanted him to do. Found its way to Mason Bennett, and his header's directed back across on goal, and it was like a slow motion, and it's just hit the post. And where Stuart Dallas reacted first to everybody when they scored, no navy blue shirt was able to react quickly to it.
Now Tamori coming forward for Derby again. 2 minutes to play in the first half on Talk Sport. They lead Leeds United by a goal to nil. 2-0 on aggregate, but Bogle coming in field again now from the right hand side, has support from Holmes. Bogle now clips it wide towards Lawrence, who can attack the penalty area, and Lawrence comes in field, fires in the shot, left footed, not really his strongest foot, bit of a swinger, and it's 5 or 6 yards wide.
Well, they finished look like we're going to have a substitution.
Jack Marriott
coming on.
And it's a change which looks to be
Dwayne Holmes,
a tactical one. Yeah, Dwayne Holmes, the midfielder, is coming off, and he doesn't look to be injured, and they're going for 2 up top, so Lampard knows they've got to get goals very quickly here.
Yeah, it just seems a strange timing to do it, really. 2 minutes before half time that you're making that substitution, unless he is injured. Well, as you mentioned, it's not something that we can see at this moment in time. Just looking at what they're going to do, yeah, it's going to be, looks like they're maybe going to go and play a diamond. They're going to have Marriott and Bennett up front, with maybe Lawrence just behind, with Bradley Johnson sitting and Mason Mount and Harry Wilson as the 2 midfield players. Slight change of system and personnel.
Well, Bielsa deep in conversation with his backroom team, looking to assess this as Marriott chases forward. Now a long ball over the top. There's a collision between Cooper and Casilla, and he scored. Jack Marriott, with his first touch, gets Derby County right back into the game. Calamitous defending from Leeds United. No communication at all between Casilla and Cooper, and Marriott was there to capitalise, and Derby County are back in the tie.
Well,
1-1 on the night. It's now 2-1 to Leeds on aggregate.
Well, what a substitution to have your first kick and to go through and score. Absolutely comical defending again from Cooper and Casilla. We've seen it a couple of times earlier in this game. We saw it at Ipswich at the last game of the season, and a couple of occasions. Just deal with it, communication between one of you. Take responsibility, and it has given Derby County a massive lifeline just before half time.
That was
comical.
Incredible.
There's a stunned silence. I was here when
that could kill the atmosphere.
Well, I was here doing TalkSport game for the Wigan game when Wigan scored just on half time, and you could hear a pin drop on that particular Good Friday when Wigan scored, and the same again tonight. Absolute soul destroying for Leeds United, but a massive bonus for Frank Lampard and Derby County.
Because if you're beaten by a brilliant goal, you just hold your hands up, but that was entirely self-inflicted.
Well, unbelievably so. And it has, look, we've mentioned it a couple of times, that the inconsistency of Casilla, indecisiveness.
Now Marriott coming forward again. Casilla miles outside his penalty area, collides with Phillips, and this time Leeds get the bounce of the ball, but you can hear what the home crowd are thinking. We're into 2 minutes of added time here, and Leeds there almost gifting Derby the lead.
Well, sometimes as a goalkeeper, yes, come out and make sure you clear your lines, But some other times you've got to make sure that you let your defenders do their job. Stay on your line, let them defend it, let them put it into Rose Ed. He's caused unnecessary problems with the goal, with incidences before and after the goal.
Wow.
That'd have been a remarkable couple of minutes if they'd scored another one, Derby, from absolutely nothing.
Well, Frank Lampard there standing, arms folded inside the technical area. The nature of his team talk has now changed because his team are back in the game, and that was an absolute gift. And in playoff games, you've got to manage situations like that. It wasn't even a half chance, wasn't even a quarter chance for Jack Marriott, and he still scored. It was,
well, you've got to give him credit because he's ended up chasing and harrying, which he does. But it just miscommunication, responsibility from the centre-backs and goalkeeper.
Well, that is half-time, and there is applause from the Leeds crowd, but they are very, very quiet compared to the noise they were generating at the start of this game. Leeds are still ahead. They were 2-0 up on aggregate when Stuart Dallas poked in at the far post after a free kick from Calvin Phillips had come back off the upright. They also hit the crossbar while they were leading by a goal to nil. Just before half-time, Mason Bennett saw a far post header come back off the post, but the key moment, maybe the turning point, Derby will hope, in the tie. Jack Marriott was brought on, and his first touch was to plant the ball into the back of the net after some horrible defending involving Kiko Casilla and Liam Cooper, and this tie is not done yet. At half-time, it is Leeds United 1, Derby County 1, Leeds still ahead, 2-1 on aggregate. Thank you, Natalie. Well, the Leeds crowd are doing their best to get behind their team at the start of the second half, but there was a real feeling of shock around the stadium during half-time following that equalising goal for Derby County, and not just the goal but the manner of it. As we look to get the second half underway, Leeds in all white will be attacking the Revy stand away to our left-hand side, and Derby County in their dark grey away strip will be heading towards the south stand, and their supporters down to our right-hand side have been the most vocal during half-time. All of the Leeds crowd have their scarves above their heads once again, and they will hope to replicate that at Wembley on Bank Holiday Monday against Aston Villa. But this match still has a lot of football in it now as Frank Lampard makes his way out for the second half. Cuts a very different figure to Marcelo Bielsa, but they both want the same thing in the second 45 minutes. And Bielsa may have to look to a very young bench the longer the game goes on. A reminder of the two teams again: Leeds, Casilla in goal, Ayling, Berardi, Cooper and Dallas, Phillips, Hernandez, Shackleton, Click and Harrison across midfield, Bamford in attack, a reshaped Derby County, Rose in goal, Bogle, Tamori, Keogh and Malone. It's then a diamond, Johnson as the deepest player, Mount and Wilson going wide, Lawrence in behind Bennett and Marriott. Jack Marriott came on just before half-time for Dwayne Holmes and then scored with his first touch following a horrible error between Casilla and Cooper. And Derby playing from left to right in the second half, looking to attack right from the start, but now Leeds have it back, but Click loses out to Johnson, and Johnson I think will be more suited as the defensive screen for Derby County as Keogh steps forward now and he's found Wilson with a great ball into the area. Here is Mason Mount, comes inside, scoops it in, and Mason Mount has done it, and Derby County right at the start of the second half have the goal they were looking for, and incredibly they have come from 2 goals down and Leeds United have capitulated. It is Leeds United 1, Derby County 2, 2-2 on aggregate, and Leeds do not know what's hit them.
No, they certainly don't. The crowd were behind them, and Derby played some real good football and moved it into Lawrence and into the midfield areas. And then just when you think Mason Mount has lost his footing in the inside his 18-yard box, he's regathered his feet, put it in and looped over Casilla, to be fair. And it was certainly what Derby wanted in this first early stages, first 5 minutes of the second half, and certainly not what Leeds United wanted. Derby were going to ask questions of them by going 2 up front, how it was going to cause Leeds problems, the diamond shape, can they combat it, can they make sure that they can deal with it? Well, the proof has been in the pudding. In this first couple of minutes they've not dealt with it quick enough.
And they were carved open there, right down the centre. and whatever Bielsa has said to his team via the translator has just been torn to shreds. Derby with 2 goals either side of half-time. No side has ever come back to win a championship semi-final in the playoffs after losing the home leg first. At the moment, Derby County are 1 goal away.
Well, you see Mason Bennett there chasing down Stuart Dallas again. Yes, be pumped up, but make sure you don't do something stupid that is going to cost your team, because Derby are obviously back in this game now. Magnificent effort from them to go 1-0 down and with a tough place at Ellen Road, but ultimately then they've got the goal from a mistake from Casilla, and then they've responded really well in the opening seconds of the second half. So Leeds have got to show their mettle now. They've got to respond in a positive manner, make sure that it doesn't affect them. Will they be able to change system and combat this the 2 up front and the diamond shape? It's looking at, as I'm just looking at the moment, it looks like they're potentially gone to a back 3. Ayling and Berardi in the middle and Cooper on the left. Harrison maybe as a left wing back, and Hernandez on the right hand side. Are you interested if they stay like that, or is it just for the free kick?
Cooper rises to head clear for Leeds, and now Dallas with a long ball over the top. Bamford will chase. Keogh knows he's in the vicinity, and then Bamford pushes him in the back, and it will be a free kick for Derby County. And credit Frank Lampard here. People talk about first-time managers, rookie managers. He assessed the situation and he's come up with a formula which has turned this game on its head.
Well, definitely. Full credit to him. I did say earlier that he doesn't get too carried away when things are going against for him, really positively. Don't get too down. He'll have studied what he thought he needed to do and was brave to make that decision bang on half-time.
Now Bogle inside the penalty area, pulls it back towards Marriott's behind him, and the clearance is charged down. Mount's there again, and it's blocked by the legs of Casilla, and then Malone with a volley which is over the top, and Derby inches away from taking the lead.
Well, great play from Bogle down the right-hand side. Plenty of bodies in the box now with the 2 strikers up there, and Leeds just can't deal with it. They can't get rid of the second ball. Falls to was it Mason Mount? It fell to just outside the box, and Casilla made a great save, and then the rebound over the bar. But great start from Derby. Bradley Johnson foul on Patrick Bamford there, caught him a little bit high up on his Achilles. But Leeds need to regroup. They need to make sure that they get a grips of this game, because Derby have certainly responded really well.
Leeds 1, Derby 2, 2-2 on aggregate on Talk Sport. If it stays like this, we would have extra time. There is no away goals rule in the playoffs, but it's Derby coming forward again now with Marriott on this near side. Just loses his footing momentarily, then works his way beyond the challenge of Dallas, and then tries to find Bogle. But Bogle is spending the entire game now almost as a right winger on this near side, and Leeds don't know what to do with him.
No, he's been attacking ever so well. He was doing it first half, and they're getting every second ball. Derby, they're passing and moving and asking all sorts of questions of Leeds, and this back 3, I think it is at this moment in time.
Well, Bielsa perches on the edge of his bucket. His team have thrown away a 2-goal lead in this tie. Now level once again. Lawrence with an excellent ball wide to the far side where he looked it, but it's behind Mount, and it will be a throw into Leeds. And the Leeds crowd here just trying to get behind their team, and because everybody is absolutely shell-shocked by what they've seen here either side of half-time. And the first goal self-inflicted, and now Leeds have given the ball away in a dangerous area, and the shot driven in by Bennett, and it spins across the penalty area. It was blocked by Berardi, and it's gathered now by Marriott on this near side. Back again towards Bogle. 5 minutes played in the second half. Leeds 1, Derby 2 on Talk Sport. Cooper slices of clearance towards this near side. Back into the path of Marriott. Leeds can't do anything right here at the moment. Lovely footwork from Bogle to spin away from a couple of challenges. He's got option square of him on the edge of the penalty area, and in the end the challenge on Malone from Ayling allows Leeds to break, and Click will try and bring it forward, and he's got support from Shackleton coming inside down the left hand side. Bamford waits on the edge of the area. Now Hernandez takes over, but he loses out to Keogh, and Derby will clear. Tamori with a long ball forward. Lawrence just slipping again on halfway as he controls it, but Derby at the moment have got the system that has got Leeds foxed. Harrison though gathers on this near side. Bogle will have to defend this time, but the early ball from Harrison was rushed, and it will be cleared away by Keogh. And here is an opportunity for Wilson to bring it forward. He was fouled by Click, and it's a free kick to Derby, who at the moment have got Leeds exactly where they want.
Well, we've got a cup tie, haven't we? It's end-to-end stuff. Derby have been really excellent these first opening stages of the first half. They're breaking forward quickly. Leeds then had a counter-attacker themselves with a 4 versus 2. Jamie Shackleton just took the wrong option when he was breaking forward, and it petered out. But we've got a real tactical battle going on now. Leeds have changed their system to 3 at the back and playing a 3-4-1-1. And it's going to be one of them games that is going to swing backwards and forwards. We've seen Liam Cooper miscue a clearance when in the first 20 minutes of the game he'd have been fine with it all, but the nervousness is just creeping into one or two of the players now.
Shackleton looking to move forward now, but Mount comes in with a challenge, but Shackleton does well to find Click in the central area, and it's wide towards the far side again, and an opportunity for Harrison to try and find Hernandez wide towards Ayling. Ayling now inside the penalty area, finding Hernandez again, and the cross comes all the way through to Harrison, and it's blocked a couple of yards away from goal by Bogle. Now the long ball forward from him will interest Bennett, and Berardi goes all the way back towards Casilla, and we will see what Casilla does here. In the end, it's a calm clearance wide towards Berardi once again.
Well, both teams are certainly going for it, aren't they? There's plenty of spaces on the pitch. There's counter-attack after counter-attack from both Leeds and Derby. Who's going to be important? Who gets the next goal?
Well, we said at half-time the next goal could be the pivotal one, and Derby have it. 8 minutes played in the second half on Talk Sport. We've had 2 dramatic nights of playoff football, and there's still a long way to go in this one as Leeds come forward now with Dallas once again. Right-footed shot is fumbled by Rose inside the penalty area. Hernandez with the effort, blocked by the body of Malone. Leeds are claiming handball. Anthony Taylor looks across to his assistant, and the throw-in is the outcome.
Well, again, great run from Dallas, good strike. Roos makes a good save. Hernandez gets the rebound.
And now Shackleton with a low ball in from the far side, which is blocked in the end by Johnson, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds, and they've suddenly found their second wind 9 minutes into the second half on Talk Sport. 2-2 on aggregate, just as it was last night at the Hawthorns, where we went all the way to penalties. If it stays like this, we would have extra time, but both teams aren't settling for this.
They're certainly not. There's plenty of space for teams to break forward and carry the ball forward. It's more or less man for man all over the pitch, and it's going to be who's the most decisive, who's going to make that right decision when they get into that final third. We've seen both keepers having to make good early saves, whereas previously not too much goal action for the goalkeepers to have to respond to. So great second half from a viewer's perspective.
And now Marriott looking to roll the challenge of Berardi, and he bursts into the penalty area down the left hand side, but Berardi with the help of Ayling will clear for Leeds on the far side, and now Hernandez will bring it forward. Click was looking for the early ball in field, but instead he tries to find Shackleton, and Shackleton does well to win it back from Lawrence. Ayling now forward towards Hernandez, and the ball down the line will find Click, who keeps it in play down the Leeds right. Infield again towards Hernandez, and on towards Shackleton. It needs a good cross, but it's blocked by the body of Keogh. First time back in by Click towards the penalty area. It comes to Dallas on the volley, and he went for glory there, and it's into the top tier of the Revy stand.
Well, when Leeds are breaking forward and getting the shots off, Derby are putting the bodies on the line. They're making good blocks. You see Richard Keogh there. Bradley Johnson in the middle of the pitch now, just telling his teammates just calm down a little bit. Let's restock. Let's reanalyse what we might need to do in the next 10-15 minutes or so. But it has been an entertaining game. Leeds have got the 3 at the back, as I mentioned, with Calvin Phillips and Harrison and Hernandez looking to push forward up against Bogle, and Malone on the left hand side, leaving plenty of space in between the gaps for all the midfield areas.
56 minutes played. Leeds 1, Derby 2 in the Championship playoffs, only on Talk Sport. 2-2 on aggregate, and Derby have repaired the damage from 2 goals down here as Wilson looks to build on this near side, but it's cleared away by Dallas for a throw into Derby.
Again, we talked about Liam Cooper being consistent, but twice in the space of 5 minutes he's gone to clear things and just put it straight up into the sky.
Bogle coming forward again inside the penalty area, finding Bennett 25 yards out, back towards Lawrence, who pokes it in field. Bennett goes down. Penalty! A penalty to Derby County for the challenge by Cooper. He is booked, and Derby here have the opportunity to take the lead for the first time in the tie.
Wow, we're just mentioning Liam Cooper there being consistent. but a good ball between Cooper and I think it'd probably be Erling. Plays a little slide rule pass, and Bennett looking to go on the shoulder, gets away from Cooper, who pulls him back from the shirt, goes down, penalty from Anthony Taylor. As we're looking at it now, it looks like Mason Bennett has done something to his thigh. He could be coming off in the next few minutes, and a substitution. He looks like he's really struggling. Ian Abrahams' pitch side will get news of any changes as and when they happen, but more immediately, Harry Wilson has a penalty here to put Derby County 3-1 up on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. It is an extraordinary turnaround here at Ellen Road. Leeds were heading into half-time, a goal up, 2-0 up on aggregate, but it's all changed. Wilson steps up left-footed, makes no mistake at all. And what a story developing here at Ellen Road. Derby County cannot believe what is happening to them. They've come from 2 goals down to take the lead, and Leeds are falling apart yet again. Well, cool, composed finish there from Harry Wilson, sends Casilla in the goal the wrong way. What a remarkable turnaround. Leeds were cruising in at half-time. Then a mix-up between Cooper and Casilla in the goal gives Derby a lifeline. Start the second half really positively to go 2-1 up, and then a third goal within the space of 5-10 minutes of the second half starting. So what a comeback from Derby. Leeds have got to regroup. The whole stadium's shell-shocked. The players look like they're shell-shocked. They've got to be big enough. They've got to stand up and be counted now, and really shows a lot about themselves. We've seen now, Mason Bennett's going to be coming off. We'll get confirmation of that change within Abrahams.
Mason Bennett, the man coming off, and Tom Huddleston coming on. This basically will shore up, or should shore up, the midfield alongside Bradley Johnson. Jack Marriott will be the lone striker, Nige.
Thanks, Ian. Well, seasons turn on moments of brilliance. Leeds' season could have turned on a moment of stupidity. That defending between Casilla and Cooper has turned this game on its head. Without a shadow of doubt, Nigel, it's been an absolute disaster from Leeds' perspective. It gave Frank Lampard a different outlook on what his team thought was going to be at half-time. Give Derby a big lift, knock the stuffing out of Leeds, and then again they get the second goal right after half-time, and it's an uphill struggle now from Leeds. Now Tamori on the far side. 59 minutes played on Talk Sport. It is absolutely mind-blowing what has happened here. Leeds 1, Derby 3. Derby ahead for the first time in the tie, and they've come from 2 goals down to do it. You're listening to Leeds against Derby on Talk Sport with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Frank Lampard playing Mason Bennett, because he came into the team right from the start. He showed his intention, looking to run in behind, was a threat, gets a penalty, has been outstanding, and a real positive performance from him, and a positive selection from Frank Lampard. What have Leeds got left? Hernandez with a cross high into the penalty area. Rose does well to gather. And you look back between the Leeds goal and the Derby first goal, they hit the crossbar as well, Leeds. That would have sealed it, but now they have half an hour left in which to save their season. Well, we've expected the unexpected, haven't we, over the last 10 days. Now Marriott chasing again, and Berardi ducks out of it, and Casilla steps in. Sorry, whenever it goes near Casilla, we've got to get on with it. I agree totally, and it's not just the supporters who've got the hearts in their mouths. I think it's all the players at this moment in time. Now Dallas coming forward for Leeds, on towards Click on this near side. He's got support from Harrison. Harrison will try and go to the byline. The cross is deflected off Bogle, and it's a Leeds corner, and they need a goal here mighty quickly. Yeah, need to respond, get on the front foot, get the crowd really behind them, heading towards the Kop. Be interesting if Bielsa makes any tactical substitutions. Can he change it around? 3 goals in 13 minutes for Derby, either side of half-time. Leeds were 2-0 up. They were heading to Wembley. Now their season is crumbling. Phillips with the corner into the near post, appeals for handball again as Ayling challenged. Boomed long downfield by Tamori. And it's controlled by Casilla, 30 yards from goal. So there's a change in system again here. It's sort of 4-2-3-1 for Derby, but it's Lawrence will try and be one of the attacking 3 behind Marriott. As Dallas comes forward into the penalty area, strikes it right-footed, and he scored! And Leeds are back in the game, and their season is back on track. Stuart Dallas, with only 2 goals before this evening, has scored twice in this semi-final second leg and has levelled the scores once again to breathe new life into Ellen Road. Leeds 2, Derby 3, 3-3 on aggregate.
Well, what a game we've got here tonight. To mention Stuart Dallas before, that the first goal was a tap-in that he couldn't miss. What a great strike this was. Came in on from the left wing where he's playing, steps inside onto his strong right foot, plays a 1-2, follows the pass, and then bends it into the far corner, past Roos's left hand, and into the far corner. We've got game on now. Ellen Road has erupted. What a fantastic advert for the championship that we've got in British football.
3-3. Extra time is a possibility once again. And the smoke bombs have gone off once again inside the Leeds United portions of the stadium, which of course they dominate. Huddleston with a long ball forward again, headed away by Cooper. And Derby were not ahead in the tie for very, very long, about 5 minutes. Now it's played forward by Phillips, over the top again, but it's nodded clear by Huddleston. Then Keogh challenges, and it's won back by Wilson. Wilson is cleaned out by a clean challenge by Phillips, and had he mistimed that, he would have been off.
Yeah, good strong challenge, nothing in it, won the ball. Harry Wilson gets straight up, but it's interesting now that I think for Derby's perspective, Mason Bennett going off has probably cost them a little bit, because they haven't really got another out-and-out striker on the bench.
Now Shackleton coming forward for Leeds, wide towards the far side, and Hernandez. Bamford waits inside the penalty area. Ayling looking to come in field again, plays the 1-2 with Bamford. Ayling continues, and its shot is wide. Well, that would have been a goal to bring the house down, as Luke Ayling picked his way through the bodies but couldn't provide the finish.
Well, we mentioned how Leeds were going to respond to going 3-1 down. Well, they got the goal, and all of a sudden they've really been positive. Luke Ayling stepping in from the right side of a 3, plays a 1-2 with Patrick Bamford, and just when you're expecting it to hit the back of the net, he just goes past the near post. And certainly all Leeds at this moment in time responded really well after going that goal down, or the goals down.
What a night on Talk Sport. 63 minutes played. Leeds United 2, Derby County 3 in the second leg of the EFL Playoff Championship semi-final. 3-3 on aggregate. No away goals, of course, so it would be extra time if it stays like this, and maybe a penalty shootout. And Derby have an immaculate record in shootouts so far this season. Hernandez plays the ball across the field from right to left, and now Harrison steps away from Bogle. Bogle tries to foul him. Harrison fires the shot in, but it's blocked on this near side by Mount. Mount then slides in, and he takes out Click, and Mount will be booked, and rightly so.
Yeah, he caught in there. Leeds on the front foot. Stuart Dallas gets the ball first off, and Mason Mount doesn't stop his sliding tackle straight into Stuart Dallas. Definitely yellow card, going to allow Calvin Phillips now with an in-swinging free kick. Similar position to what we had in the first half, when it was an in-swing, hit the far post, and Stuart Dallas tapped it in. Will he be looking for his hat-trick?
Phillips over the free kick. Well, we've seen some strange things this evening, but a Stuart Dallas hat-trick would just about top it. Phillips with the corner at the Revy stand end. The Leeds crowd full of life once again here. Phillips whips it in towards that near post. It's flicked on by Cooper. Johnson gets there before Dallas, and now Shackleton with a cushion header wide to the right hand side, and Hernandez. The early cross in is claimed by Roos, who looked for the early outlet, and there was nobody there.
No, I think he just needs to take the pressure off now, to make sure he just take the sting out of the game, because the crowd are certainly up for it. Leeds are on the front foot. Just make sure that you manage the game a little bit. Don't take the mickey by too much time wasting, but have a little bit of purpose about you, thought process about you, to not have any unnecessary pressure coming your way.
Now Bamford lays it back in field towards Hernandez on the edge of the penalty area. Click goes for the 1-2 with the veteran Spaniard, but it's Huddleston who was in the way, and he plays a long ball downfield, and Marriott goes down as Cooper challenges him, and Anthony Taylor, who was having an excellent game, just tells him to get up. Now Dallas for Leeds on this near side, the left, down the channel looking for Click, who loses out to Keogh as both players come shoulder to shoulder, and Keogh shepherds it out to play, believing it was a Derby throw, and Anthony Taylor has given it the other way. 66 minutes played, Derby leading 3-2 on the night. It is 3-3 on aggregate. Aston Villa still a long way from knowing who they'll be playing in the final. Dallas drives across in from the left-hand side, looking for Bamford, and it's gathered by Rose, who quickly clears downfield. Lawrence was the target, but it will beat both he and Berardi into touch, and it will be a throw-in for Leeds.
Well, we've got time to pause for breath, have we, Nigel? It's end to end. There's plenty of incidents going off. Both teams trying to get this next goal. As you mentioned there, Aston Villa still won't have a clue whether they're going to be playing in that final in 10 days' time or so.
That will be on Bank Holiday Monday, live on TalkSport, along with the two other League One and League Two finals on that weekend. We already know in League Two it will be Newport against Tranmere, and we'll find out over the next couple of nights who qualifies from League One. On Thursday night, Portsmouth against Sunderland with Ian Danter and David Connolly live from Fratton Park. Sunderland going there a goal up. Then on Friday, David will be alongside Jim at the Valley for Charlton against Doncaster. Charlton coming back south with a 2-1 lead. And don't forget the FA Cup final live on TalkSport on Saturday on TalkSport 2. It is the final day of the regular season in the Gallagher Premiership Rugby Union, as Harrison comes forward now for Leeds, infield towards Bamford on the edge of the penalty area. Important challenge though from Wilson to win it back, and now Huddleston goes back towards Lawrence, long downfield from Malone, and Marriott was on his bike there looking to get in behind Berardi, but Berardi did well to reclaim possession with a header. A long diagonal ball into the penalty area from Ailing out on the right, looking for Bamford, but it's headed away by Keogh. Now Mount looked up a couple of times for options ahead of him. There was nobody there, so he just clouts the ball off Harrison, and it will be a throw-in to Derby on this near side.
Yeah, he was just looking for somebody to run in behind. Tom Lawrence was struggling a little bit. Looked like he's got a bit of tiredness about him. Both sets of players have given everything so far on the night. There's going to be some tired bodies, some tired minds over the next 20 odd minutes or so, and potentially longer.
Now Mount with an outstanding run forward on this near side. Berardi looked to go between the challenge of Phillips and Berardi, and he's taken down inches outside the penalty area, and Berardi is booked.
Positive play there from Mason Mount. He wriggled his way through and got into the box, and another yellow card. I don't think there's been too many real serious bad tackles, has there, really, Nigel? But what we got now, 7 or 8 bookings?
9.
It's not really been a bad tackle all night, has it? I think that suggests there's probably worse tackles on Saturday with far fewer bookings.
Well, Wilson is over the free kick here, and we have 21 minutes to play on TalkSport. Derby leading 3-2 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate, as Derby look to become the first ever team to lose the home leg, the first leg, and then win a championship playoff semi-final. And Wilson could go for goal here. It is half a yard outside the penalty area, and Wilson whips it in towards that near post, and the wall does its job. It strikes Harrison, and it's a throw into Derby on this near side.
Yeah, he was looking to do that, wasn't he? Trying to get it over the two-man wall and bend it into Casillas' near post area. Whether he'd have got across and covered it, I'm not quite sure, but the wall did its job.
Now it's thrown in towards Marriott, who believes he was fouled once again, but doesn't get the decision. And Bamford tangles with Keogh, and similarly Anthony Taylor waves play on.
Yeah, you can see why he's a Premier League referee, can't you? He's handled the occasion really well. Knows when to let just wait for a free kick to see what he's going to do there. It was a free kick.
Harrison on Bogle.
He's known when to let advantage go. He's known when to pull things up. Has he needed to book the players that he has done? Maybe not, but I think he's handled the occasion really well, the referee.
And we've seen players tonight and also last night maybe take 1 or 2 liberties which they possibly get away with regular referees in the championship, but the top refs,
they see it, don't they? The experience, he's been around the block, done European games, big Premier League games. He knows everything that every player will be looking to take advantage of.
Bogle with the free kick, high into the penalty. Casillas comes a long way and he's missed it, and then he grabs it because it bounces off the head of Marriott, and then Casillas claims it. He's all over the shot.
What is he doing there again? It's gone into the box, and he just let his centre-back deal with it and head it away, and he's caused unnecessary panic again in the box.
19 minutes to play. Derby lead 3-2 on the night, 3-3 on aggregate on TalkSport. Ailing with a low cross in, which is blocked at the near post by Johnson, and Johnson will think about the early ball forward, then delays, but Berardi with a diving header gets there before Marriott, but it's given straight back to Johnson, and now Marriott is found by Lawrence. The early ball forward looking for Wilson, but Phillips doing what he has to do on the cover, cushions the header down towards Phillips, towards Cooper rather, on the far side. And now Shackleton coming forward for Leeds over halfway, back towards Ayling. And you could not pick a winner in this game at the moment with 18 minutes to play on talk.
It's flown by this second half, hasn't it?
Derby leading 3-2, 3 goals in 13 minutes, either side of half-time, but Stuart Dallas with his second has given Leeds a foothold in the tie. Now Harrison with a mazy dribble in from the left-hand side, an excellent ball wide towards Hernandez at the far post, cut back looking for Bamford, cleared as far as Ayling with the shot, and he came in, hit it right-footed, and it spun high over the top. And TalkSport supports the work of Prostate Cancer UK. Remember, in the time it takes to play a game of football, 2 men in the UK will die of prostate cancer. To find out more and how you can help, visit prostatecanceruk.org/football. And Ayling's finish not quite of the quality of Dallas.
No, you've just missed the yellow card there for one of the coaching staff of Leeds United. They were having a go at the assistant referee that when the ball was going through, he didn't put his flag up for offside, but he didn't have to put it up because he hadn't reached him in that phase of play. But obviously the words that he said to the the assistant referee on this near side warranted another yellow card.
And we'll get some confirmation on that from Ian Abrahams in a second. The ball's gone out of play, so Moose, what happened?
Yeah, it was Carlos Corberan, the assistant. Bielsa doesn't speak English, but his assistant most certainly does. And as Simon put it so eloquently, down here I could see that his use of the language maybe wasn't as clean as the fourth official would have liked.
Well put. Now Wilson is down on this near side, so that is the cue for both sets of players to head towards the technical areas and take on some fluids and also get some more instructions, because at the moment this could be another long night on TalkSport with 16 minutes to play and this tie locked together at 3-3.
Yeah, get some fluids back on board, some energy gels to get back into, try and get rid of that lactic acid, get a second wind. Leeds have got a couple of substitutions still in place to use. Derby, well, they used a couple already, haven't they?
Yeah, used 2 already, Huddleston and Marriott.
So they've only got the one.
But if we go to extra time, they would then have another.
Yeah.
And that was used by West Brom last night when they made all 4 changes.
But there are going to be some tired bodies out there because they have actually, both sets of players have left nothing in the locker room. They've made sure that they've chased and worked because they know what's at stake. The last thing you want to do as a manager, coach, is have any players coming off the pitch with any regrets at the end of it. Give everything, and win, lose or draw, then at least you can wake up in the morning and say, I give everything, and hopefully you've got the positive result off the back of it.
Just over 15 minutes to play as Bielsa urges his team to rediscover their shape, and they clearly get the message, whatever language it's in, as Wilson heads it forward for Derby on this near side. Johnson wins it back, and he's found Marriott once again. He almost makes the break into the penalty area, but now coming back the other way is Shackleton for Leeds, and he's found Click in space down the right hand side. Only Bamford down the centre. Leeds need to get midfield reinforcements on the ball here. Hernandez now takes over once again, and Click will try and twist and turn away from Huddleston, which is a difficult thing to do, and Huddleston does well to very easily win it back and clear the ball down the line. And now Marriott with a long ball forward, and Lawrence was outnumbered by Berardi and Cooper, but he still managed to force the error and win the throw-in.
Yeah, he's looked a little bit uncertain, Liam Cooper, in this second half. Obviously the mistake before half-time affected him a little bit, but he's trying to lead by example, get players on around him to help him out, because when you're having a tough time, it's not easy. So you need your players around you to maybe sometimes dig you out of the hole that you're in. But he's a good pro and he'll get through it.
Now Phillips wide to the far side, and it's just about kept in play by Hernandez. Click 25 yards from goal, down the right, finding Ayling. And Leeds here at the moment are creating more problems than Derby, but the ball in field doesn't find Hernandez, and it's cleared long downfield, and Lawrence is often the furthest player forward now for Derby, and the ball doesn't stick with him as Cooper plays it wide towards Phillips on this near side with 76 minutes played at Ellen Road on TalkSport, the home of the EFL. And it's been some night already. Leeds 2, Derby 3. 3-3 on aggregate as Wilson steps in and he plays the ball off Dallas clearly. And even though the Revy stand complain, Anthony Taylor spot on.
Yeah, he did. Right decision again. The Leeds faithful are going to contest any decision that I think should be going their way. We're looking down on below us. Izzy Brown's having a good warm-up. Jack Clark. Will he make a substitution, get a bit of pace injection with Jack Clark, because he can change the game with his direct play. Izzy Brown's not had a lot of game time since he's been on loan from Chelsea.
One sub-appearance.
Could tonight be his night where he makes an impact?
Well, it's a very young Leeds bench. Struick, Bogus, Gotts and Clark, all teenagers. As it's almost given away by Tamori, and Keogh now plays it forward. It's a good ball as well. Lawrence inside the centre circle, believes he was fouled by Berardi, but Berardi will come away with the ball. He then stumbles. Johnson makes the challenge, and Johnson wins it back, and Derby can break now with Marriott, and in the end, Berardi comes back on Johnson, and Berardi is in real trouble here, and Gaetano Berardi has been sent off. Anthony Taylor now having to sort out a coming together between the Leeds and Derby players, but yet again in this season's playoffs we have seen a red card. It's Berardi who goes for Leeds, and they will have to chase the winning goal with 10 men.
Well, he's stupid. He's made a challenge and a tackle that he doesn't need to make. He doesn't need to get involved in it. Yeah, he's a warrior type, and he's seen him going down the tunnel. He smashed his hand against the tunnel, probably end up with a broken hand, foolishly doing something like that. But you know you're on a yellow card. Yes, the heat of the moment. Seen Chris Brunt last night do exactly the same thing. Experienced players making wrong decisions. Stay on your feet and know what to play with your head as well as your heart.
And now Bamford also on a yellow card. He clatters into Wilson. He's got to be careful as well. And Bamford now goes down to Wilson and tells him to get up. And the tempers are fraying between Leeds United and Derby County once again, and Bamford here has got to be careful or Leeds will be down to 9.
Well, at half time, talking to Natalie, and we're saying about his yellow card for diving. That could have massive consequences for the second half. Yes, he's made a challenge there, not I think mad in it or anything like that, or bad in it, but it's still going to cast a seed into the referee's mind that is another tackle like that, and it's certainly a second yellow card and off again.
Mount and Wilson are over the free kick. 11 minutes to play. Derby now with the man advantage. It's played high into the penalty area. Nodded on. Huddleston tries to fire the shot in, and Marriott will try and challenge, but Bamford will clear. Let's go down to Ian Abrahams.
Pontus Jansson's going to come on straight away. The minute that red card was shown, Janssen was told to strip and get changed. I think that's exactly what he's doing down there. I'll let you know in a second who he comes on for.
But we have had the 6th yellow card in the playoffs so far this season, or this week. 2 for West Brom, 2 for Forest Green, 1 for Sunderland, which was rescinded, and now 1 for Leeds. And there could be 40 minutes of football left in this game if it goes to extra time. And rather like West Brom last night, Leeds, in the game which keeps the season alive, have another self-inflicted wound.
Well, you did call it, didn't you, early in the first half, that you'd be very surprised if a team wasn't down to 10 men after 90 minutes, and the way it's been going, there's potential that anything else could happen.
Well, Janssen will be on shortly, the Swedish international. And Ellen Road again. Well, it's been such a roller coaster for both sets of fans in the second half. 10 minutes to play. Leeds 2, Derby 3, 3-3 on aggregate, but Leeds down to 10 men, and Berardi had a couple of yellow cards turned into red cards last season, and now the red mist has descended once again. Click inside the penalty area, pulls it back. Huddleston with a clearance, could have gone anywhere inside the penalty area, but now Derby will try and break, but Cooper steps in before Lawrence to win it back, and now the Leeds captain will move it forward. They're very keen to make that change as soon as possible, Leeds. Harrison, infield towards Click, it's left to Cooper. And now slashed into the penalty area by Hernandez, and it's overhit, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
No, he's still warming up. Janssen, to be fair, he's below us. They've not decided.
Well, he's coming back from an injury, so you can't rush him, can you?
No, it looks like they've gone with Aylin in as the centre back at the moment, into a back four, with Dallas now going to left back and Shackleton at right back. Phillips and Klitsch in midfield. It looks like it's a 4-4-1 with Bamford up front on his own.
Well, at the moment, there are 4 or 5 people waving their arms around like tic-tac men inside the Leeds technical area with 9 minutes to play. 3-3 on aggregate. Extra time is looming here, but Derby, with the extra man, will be keen to finish things off here. Malone heads it forward on the far side of the left, and there's plenty of room now for Johnson to pick out Malone again, who makes the burst in towards the edge of the penalty area. He pulls it back behind 2 chasing players. Mount unable to fasten onto it, and now Huddleston square to this near side, and Bogle. Derby in the ascendancy once again. Bogle looks to work the 1-2 with Lawrence, but it's won back by Cooper, and Cooper quickly plays it forward towards Hernandez. Bamford looking to stretch the play, and he hauls Tamori down, and Bamford here is really walking that disciplinary tightrope. It's another free kick.
It's stupid. He's not going to get to the ball in front of Tamori, then he's pulled him back. He's certainly got to be very careful, because the referee now will... his patience will be wearing thin. It'll be interesting to see comparisons to last night. West Brom really sort of decided to go with the 10 men to get through to penalties, extra time and penalties.
But Derby are playing better here than Villa did.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Leeds, their philosophy has never really been to just to sit back and soak up pressure any time they've been with 10 men in the past. So far, since they've been down to 10 men, they've not sat back. They've got bodies forward, but that could be detrimental to them staying in this game, because Derby have got the extra man and certainly extra quality.
Now Lawrence fires a shot in from 25 yards out, hits the heel of Cooper, and we have 7 minutes to play on TalkSport. And this game being brought to you with McDonald's Fun Football, providing over 5 million hours of fun grassroots football to the UK by 2022. And what a game it has been. Leeds United 2, Derby County 3, 3-3 on aggregate. And Tamori will stride forward now for Derby once again. He was the first yellow card of the evening, and we've had
a long time ago
10 since. Now Bogle bobbing and weaving into the penalty area, going down, not getting the penalty, and the Leeds crowd are saying, well, where's the yellow card? Bogle's not a player on a booking at the moment, but Wilson will scythe away from a couple of challenges now. He almost goes all the way himself, but in the end Leeds will win it back. That is given away by Phillips. Here is Mount now, finding Wilson inside the penalty area. Wilson will hit the post, and Derby inches away from winning the tie there and then. Harry Wilson seemed to have done everything right, but he struck the inside of the far post.
Wow, what an opportunity for Harry Wilson. Great ball from Mason Mount. Wilson's opened up his body to bend it into the far corner. He expected it to hit the back of the net, hits the inside of the post and comes to a white shirt.
Now Derby coming forward again. It's Keogh into the area. Here is Marriott, and Marriott has done it. Jack Marriott puts Derby County into the lead once again, and this extraordinary tie takes yet another twist, and the 10 men of Leeds have crumbled once again, and it's Derby County who are surely heading to Wembley to face Aston Villa in the Championship playoff final. You cannot write this script. It is Leeds United 2, Derby County 4, 4-3 on aggregate.
Well, I did say how Leeds are going to respond with 10 men. Are they going to be a little bit more compact, a little bit more steady, like West Brom were last night, to make sure that they get through to extra time at the very least, and maybe potentially to penalties? They maybe should have learned the lesson that we're talking about Harry Wilson bending it and hitting the post, and then literally 30 seconds later falls into the path of Jack Marriott, who's certainly made an impact since he's come on just before half time, and buries it over the top of Casilla, which is now going to be a massive uphill struggle for Leeds United. How long we got left now? 5 minutes. Leeds down to 10 men. Are we going to get another twist in what has been a fascinating game?
Let's go down to the touchline in Abrahams.
Jack Clark's about to come on and replace Klitsch, but I have to tell you about the celebration, Nigel. While you were expertly doing the goal, Frank Lampard, Jody Morris, the whole Derby bench, they were absolutely jumping all over each other, and Kelleroos ran all the way from his goal right down in front of me to join in and punch the air. Derby believe they now have this one.
And we have 4 minutes to play, and there are Leeds fans leaving. They've seen enough.
Well, we shouldn't be doing that. Anything can still happen in this crazy moment.
How many comebacks have we seen? This is going to be another extraordinary comeback in a season.
This is going to be one of the best semi-finals we'll have seen in the playoff history, I would think. The number of incidents,
cannot believe what we have seen. Leeds had it in the bag on the stroke of half-time, and since then, Derby County have scored 4 goals. And now Leeds,
amazing,
a goal down and a man down. And we have 3.5 minutes of normal time to play, and they were wide open there for that goal, and possibly you can understand the attitude of the Leeds players to force on and try and get the winning goal themselves, but there was no game management at all.
Look, they had a warning literally 30 seconds before when Wilson hits the post. Make sure you get your solidness about you. 2 banks of 4, play for 1, do whatever's required to try and stay in the game, but ultimately as well to make sure you don't lose it. And at this stage now, we've got Patrick Bamford coming off, Izzy Brown's is coming on. What have Leeds got in store for us in the last 3 minutes of normal time plus injury time?
Izzy Brown on loan from Chelsea. Can he deny a Chelsea legend, Frank Lampard, a place at Wembley in the playoff final? Inside the final 3 minutes, Leeds 2, Derby 4, 4-3 on aggregate. Hernandez with the free kick, and it's Cooper with a header, and it bounces up into the arms of Keller Roos. And Frank Lampard, he'll have learnt a lot as a first-time manager here this evening.
All the best. That lovely dark locks that he's got will be turning to grey very soon, and ultimately
he'll
falling
have a
out.
like yours.
Yes, well, that's 12 years of management, not just one season.
Well, Roy Keane is the last rookie manager to get promotion from the Championship back in 2007. Frank Lampard could be 90 minutes away from emulating him. At the moment, it is a Derby Villa playoff final. 36,326 the crowd, and Leeds United, who with 4 games to play had automatic promotion in their hands. They were already printing the t-shirt, some of their fans. They blew that, and now from 2-0 up they are 4-3 down in a playoff semi-final. They must believe they will never make the Premier League.
Well, when I was speaking to a lot of supporters before the game, they keep on talking about that we'll have to do it the hard way, dropping out of automatic promotion. We never do things the easy way, and I could experience that from the last game of the season when I managed to get the team promoted out of League One. But yes, a fantastic opportunity this year so far to try and get automatic promotion, and then still with a 2-goal advantage going into a potential final against Aston Villa. But now it's backs against the wall. Derby will get the bodies behind the box, make it difficult. Leeds are down to 10 men, and just, is there going to be another twist in this game?
We're inside the 90th minute. Harrison on this near side goes beyond Bogle, and it's Jack Clark, the youngster from York, 19 years of age. He's been a regular starter, but he's given the ball away to Mount, and Mount now can go beyond Phillips on the left-hand side. Only Marriott waiting on a hat-trick inside the area, but Mount knew what he was doing. He just drove down the far side to eat up as many seconds as he could. At the moment, Derby are going through. Kevin Friend will shortly tell us how much added time we will have at the end of this game. It has been a match which has exhausted all the superlatives. Leeds United 2, Derby County 4, 4-3 Derby lead. But here is Izzy Brown, rarely seen by the Leeds crowd due to injuries this season. Back again towards Dallas on the hat-trick, and he curls it, and it's beaten away by Roos. It'll come out to Clark, who drives it low, and Roos is able to recover and make the save.
Well, we talked about a Stuart Dallas hat-trick. Well, he's come inside again from the left-hand roll, strong right foot, hits the target, good sail from Roos. The fourth official has just put the board up. 5 minutes of injury time. Are we going to get another goal from somebody?
Bielsa on his haunches, characteristically watches Roos take the goal kick. It's cleared away by Cooper. It's controlled by Lawrence expertly. Lawrence now coming forward, and there's a problem for a Leeds player, Marriott, who went down in that aerial challenge with Cooper, and he's just about getting to his feet. Lampard is livid with Kevin Friend because he's saying it's a head injury. Play should be stopped. Leeds won't be stopping now. They won't be giving away any uncontested goals here. Here is Clark coming forward now. Wide to the far side, infield to Shackleton. And now Hernandez, still hope for Leeds maybe. Hernandez with a burst into the area. He's been caught right on the edge of the area by Malone. And Malone will receive the yellow card. And he is another player who was booked previously. And Derby are down to 10 men. And we still have 4 minutes of added time to play. Leeds are not quite finished yet.
Well, everything that can happen in a football match has happened, hasn't it? We've had goals, we've had disastrous goals, great goals, we've had 2 sending offs. Is there still going to be another twist? It's going to be a free kick 20 yards out. Izzy Brown and Pablo Hernandez over it. Calvin Phillips are over it. A stupid yellow card from Scott Malone in the first half when the ball went out of play has contributed to the second yellow card. Mistimed second challenge. What goes through players' heads? I'm glad I'm in this media industry rather than manager at this moment in time.
Well, Malone is coming off, and Derby will be bringing on Ashley Cole very soon, but not before the free kick. Brown and Harrison are over the free kick, and the change will be made. Moose.
Yeah, not bad to be able to bring on Ashley Cole, is it, when you need to just defend for 5 minutes? Harry Wilson is the man that's being sacrificed, and if this all goes pear-shaped now for Derby, this could be very interesting going into extra time without Harry Wilson on the pitch.
Well, if it goes to penalties, it could be very interesting. And
Ashley Cole scored penalties in World Cups, hasn't he?
Of course, well, certainly in the Champions League final he did.
That's not a bad place to do it.
Well, Wilson would certainly take. Well, he scored one here tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has. Yeah.
Well, Wilson is taking his time, and if I were him, I would get off, because it's 10 against 10 now. Anything could happen.
Well, it's not bad bringing somebody of the experience of Ashley Cole, England and Champions League experience, obviously back from LA Galaxy, signing in December, I think January time. Is he going to be able to help to contribute to keeping the Leeds United out at this moment in time?
It'll be Brown or Harrison. It's Brown who curls it, and it's over the top, and you can hear the Derby crowd, a cheer of relief. And we are 3 minutes into the 5 minutes of added time. Leeds United 2, Derby County 4, 4-3 on aggregate. And Ashley Cole, after 3 Premier League titles and 7 FA Cups, gets his first experience of the playoffs.
And if he thinks it happens all like this all the time...
He could be playing at Wembley now because Malone will be suspended.
Yeah, and if he thinks playoff semi-finals like this all the time, well, he's got another thing coming. This is a one-off game. You're talking about 3 minutes into injury time now. There's still going to be injury time on top of injury time, isn't there? I think because of the substitution.
But the Leeds crowd, they are quiet. They are resigned at the moment. But it is 10 against 10. 94th minute on Talk Sport. Derby leading 4-2 on the night. 4-3 on aggregate, and now Mount spins away from Phillips, and he'll look to go all the way here himself. He's got Cooper backpedaling. Mount continues. He buys the challenge from Phillips. He goes down and then gets back up because no free kick was given, and Ayling will get it back for Leeds. Is there one final chance for them? We're into the final minute of added time, but there will be more time following that red card. Now Brown finding Hernandez, back towards Dallas. Dallas now can break into the penalty area, finding Izzy Brown once again, and the free kick is given. Brown challenging Bogle. Bogle knew what he was doing there, even at his tender age, and it will be a free kick for Derby, and they will take their time with 30 seconds of the allotted 5 minutes to go, and Bielsa looks like a man who knows the game is up. Yeah,
there's plenty of activity down on Leeds' bench, trying to really get the players going into the last few seconds. Good defending by Jayden Bogle there. He got his body across and got a little bit of contact and went down. Are Derby going to be able to see this through, or are Leeds United going to snatch a dramatic equaliser?
Well, there's plenty of room on the pitch now with it 10 against 10 as Phillips goes back towards Garcia, and the Leeds fans will not forget his error when the game looked to be in the bag. And it's given away, and Lawrence can just bring it forward now, and he will just clip the ball towards the corner flag on the far side, rather like a rugby union player kicking for touch, because they have Leeds at the other end of the field. Anthony Taylor has a look at the watch as Garcia plays it out towards Hernandez. Hernandez now.
They've gotten where they want them at Derby. Leeds can't get out of their own defensive third.
Dallas steps in field away from Huddleston, plays the early ball over the top. Clark using his pace, and he'll get there to keep it in play by the corner flag. Can Leeds get one final cross into the area? It's Clark now driving beyond Cole. It's deflected, and Harrison was almost in there, but Roos was there to gather.
You would think that's going to be it now. You would think that the referee...
There are Leeds scarves being thrown all the way onto the technical area, and Frank Lampard has picked one up and rather dismissively thrown it to the turf. That won't go down well with the locals, and as a result a couple more come on, but Derby County have done it. The most extraordinary victory. Lampard sprints onto the field to embrace with his players, and history is made at Elland Road. Derby County are the first side in playoff history to come from behind following defeat in the home leg and go all the way to Wembley. The Leeds players crumple to the turf in utter despair, but it will be Derby County against Aston Villa in the playoff final. They have come from 2 goals down overall to win 4-2 on the night, 4-3 on aggregate. Leeds collapse at the worst possible moment, and Frank Lampard's Derby are 90 minutes away from the Premier League.
Well, what a remarkable night there, and Derby have got a right to celebrate. They've performed an absolute miracle to get through in this tie. Leeds players are lying on the floor, absolutely devastated. I'm not quite sure the supporters can really imagine what's happened or believe what's happened, where the Derby faithful to our right are ecstatic. Derby players celebrating, but there's just an air of huge disappointment from Leeds United. Had it in the grasp and then they've thrown it away, this fantastic opportunity to try and get to the Premier League. But full credit for Derby, to be fair.
Bielsa just stood there for a long time on the edge of the technical area, trying to take this in. He came here with so much hope, and for so long this season Leeds United looked like they were heading back to the Premier League. It looked like he had found the winning formula to take this famous old club back to the big time, but in the end the same old failings have cost Leeds United. And will Bielsa be here next season?
Yeah, that's a big question. Is he going to be here? Is he going to be part of the group that's going to be having a go at second attempt to get to the Premier League? That's going to be something for another day. But huge disappointment. Leeds have thrown away a 2-goal advantage. But Derby, got to give credit to Frank Lampard, made that substitution right on half-time. But the key moment was the disastrous performance from the goalkeeper and Liam Cooper, which allowed Derby to get the goal right on half-time.
Smoke bombs are going off all around Elland Road, but not in celebration. It is more a lament for Leeds United. The vast majority of their supporters have stayed here to applaud their team, but there is real, bitter disappointment for the home crowd. But Frank Lampard is there in the midst of his players, celebrating with every single one of them. He was a winner as a player, and now he is one game away, Simon, from being a winner as a manager in his first season when he took on a very difficult job.
Well, I think you only have to look at the replays of how they celebrate the goals of Derby staff, how they're celebrating the victory, because how much it means to people. You put a lot of time and effort and you go through all sorts of emotions as a manager. And full credit, he's managed to look at a situation and thought, right, I need to make a change, which he did, caused Leeds problems, and then all the emotions come out at the end of it, that you've gone up against the top team that have been desperate to get promoted, and you've turned round, which has never been happened before, losing the first leg at home and getting to a Wembley final.